Something happened at Silverstone that every team on the grid should be paying attention to. Mercedes rolled out their brand new W17, put both drivers in the car, and proceeded to complete nearly the maximum allowed mileage on their very first day of running. That is not normal. That is a statement. George Russell was first to sample the new machinery, followed by Kimi Antonelli. Together, they accumulated 67 laps around the Silverstone International Circuit, totaling just shy of 200 kilometers. For context, that is the absolute limit teams can cover during a promotional filming day. Most teams do not even attempt to reach that number on their first outing with completely new cars. The contrast with other teams is striking. Audi managed roughly 50 kilometers during their shakedown. Racing Bulls took an ultra-conservative approach, completing just 15 kilometers in a demonstration event before returning for more running the next day. Cadillac did not maximize their allocation either. Mercedes walked in and immediately pushed to the boundary. Let me put a question to you. For 2 consecutive seasons, Mercedes has watched their customer team McLaren beat them with the same engine. That is embarrassing for a works operation. Does the W17 change that story? Or is McLaren about to make it 3 years in a row? Andrew Shovlin, who oversees trackside engineering for Mercedes, described the day as sensible. That word choice is interesting. Not spectacular, not groundbreaking, just sensible. The focus, he explained, was on making sure everything worked safely and reliably. Getting through the full mileage with both drivers experiencing the car was, in his words, testament to the effort from everyone at Brackley and Brixworth. Context matters here. Rumours have circulated for months that Mercedes' preparation for the new regulations has been going exceptionally well. Then came the compression ratio controversy. Rival manufacturers complained that Mercedes had found a clever interpretation of the rules that could deliver a significant power advantage. Some estimates suggest the benefit could be worth several tenths per lap from the engine alone. The FIA convened a meeting with all engine suppliers just hours before the W17 took to the track. No immediate changes to the regulations were announced. The governing body indicated that discussions about how compression ratios should be measured would continue. Mercedes, apparently unconcerned, simply went about their business. Alpine provided an interesting comparison point. The French team, now running Mercedes power for the first time in their history, completed their own shakedown at Silverstone the previous day. They managed around 140 kilometers before deteriorating light and weather forced them to stop. A solid effort, but noticeably less than what the factory team achieved 24 hours later. Looking at footage from both cars reveals obvious differences in how they have packaged the power unit. Mercedes, with years of development time and complete control over the project, has produced something more refined than what their new customer could manage at this early stage. That gap should narrow over time, but right now it is visible. The W17 makes a visual impression. The livery transitions from silver to black in a zebra-like pattern, with Petronas green accents flowing along the bodywork. Beyond aesthetics, the car represents a fundamental shift in how Formula One machines are built. Active aerodynamics adjust the wings during each lap. Power splits roughly equally between electric motors and the internal combustion engine. Sustainable fuels are mandatory. Russell enters the season as team leader. The British driver has been with Mercedes since 2022 and finally gets to lead a championship campaign without a 7-time world champion in the other car. His contract runs for just 1 year, creating pressure to deliver results immediately. Antonelli begins his second season after stepping into the seat vacated by Lewis Hamilton. The young Italian showed promise during his rookie year, but also made errors typical of a driver learning at the highest level. New regulations give everyone a fresh start, and Antonelli will hope to capitalise. Testing continues with a private session in Barcelona where teams can run for 3 days within a 5-day window. 2 additional tests in Bahrain follow during February, both open to media and spectators. The FIA has provided extra testing time this year given the magnitude of the regulation changes. Mercedes arrives as the bookmakers' favourite, a remarkable turnaround from their struggles during the ground effect era. From 2022 through 2025, the team that dominated the previous regulation cycle could not find its footing. The W17 represents their opportunity to reclaim former glory. 4 teams will run Mercedes engines this season: the factory squad, McLaren, Williams, and Alpine. If the speculation about a power unit advantage proves accurate, all 4 benefit. But the works team should understand how to extract maximum performance better than anyone. The compression ratio situation continues to simmer. Mercedes reportedly designed their engine so that internal components expand when hot, effectively increasing the compression ratio beyond what static measurements would indicate. Rivals claim this provides an unfair advantage. The FIA has not banned the approach, and Mercedes maintains they were transparent from the beginning. Red Bull has developed their own power unit through their partnership with Ford, ending years of Honda supply. Reports suggest they have attempted something similar to Mercedes' approach, though perhaps with less success. Their junior team's cautious shakedown might reflect the newness of that engine program. Silverstone was the logical choice for this debut. Mercedes' chassis facility in Brackley and engine department in Brixworth both sit within easy distance of the circuit. The team knows this track intimately from years of filming days and testing sessions. Fans who have waited years for Mercedes to return to competitiveness finally have something tangible to get excited about. The shakedown revealed that the car works, the engine runs, both drivers are comfortable, systems operate as intended. These are the basics, but getting the basics right on day one matters when everything about the machinery is new. Performance remains unknown. Testing will provide clues, but teams hide their true pace until racing begins. The real answers come only when the lights go out in Melbourne. Mercedes has started exactly as they would have wanted: maximum effort, maximum mileage, minimum drama. The W17 exists and it functions. Now comes the harder part. The customer-team dynamic adds intrigue to the season ahead. McLaren proved that having Mercedes power does not mean Mercedes automatically wins. The Woking team outdeveloped the factory operation and claimed the constructors' title. Williams showed flashes of genuine competitiveness. Alpine hopes their switch from Renault power will unlock performance they have been missing. Ferrari has reportedly considered protesting the compression ratio interpretation once the season begins. The Italian manufacturer believes Mercedes has gained an unfair advantage through creative reading of the regulations. Whether such a protest would succeed is uncertain, given that Mercedes apparently sought and received clarification from the FIA before committing to their design. Mercedes enters this new era with something to prove. The dominant force of the turbo-hybrid era became an also-ran when ground effect returned. Critics questioned whether the team had lost its edge, whether the magic that produced 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships had faded. The W17 is their answer. These are the foundations upon which championship campaigns are built. That is the challenge ahead. The countdown to Melbourne continues. Mercedes has taken their first steps. The journey toward redemption has begun.